It's so crazy out there in crypto land right now, Like everyone's screaming from the rooftops about the next big thing.
It really is. You're bombarded with so much noise.
Yeah, it's hard to even figure out where to start.
Right.
What to pay attention to.
Right, exactly.
So today we're doing something a little different.
Yeah, we're tuning out all that hype. We're taking a deep dive into the stuff that actually matters, the fundamentals, the potential.
Exactly. Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're going to get up close and personal with XRP.
One of the OGs.
Definitely an OG. And we're also going to look at a newcomer making some serious waves. Rexus Finance.
Ticker symbol RXS.
RXS. We've got some really cool stuff to dig into today. Articles analyzing XRP's potential price action, depending on what the SEC decides to do. Also, how its market cap stacks up against, the giants of finance.
Some really interesting comparisons there.
We'll also take a look at who's actually holding all that XRP, dive into some cloud mining stuff, and check out Rexus Finance and how it could shake things up.
I'm excited to get into that one.
Me too. So our mission today, pretty simple, but super important. We want to break down all this info, all these different perspectives, and give you a crystal clear view of where XRP stands right now.
And what this RXS thing might mean for the whole crypto scene. It's all about understanding the opportunities for sure, but also, the risks.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, let's jump right in. XRP, first thing that comes to mind.
The SEC lawsuit.
Ugh, yeah. It feels like that's been hanging over XRP forever.
It has. And it's definitely had a huge impact on the price. Remember back in July of 23?
Yeah.
When that judge said XRP wasn't a security?
Oh, yeah. The price went nuts.
Over 100% surge.
Crazy.
That just goes to show how sensitive XRP is to any news about regulations.
Totally. So that leads to the big question. What happens if the SEC just drops the lawsuit? I've seen some interesting projections based on, get this, ChatGPT analysis.
Whoa, AI getting in on the prediction game.
Right, so ChatGPT came up with a few scenarios. The first one, it looked at that July 23 surge, the 101% jump.
Yeah.
And it said, if we saw a similar jump from, let's say, $2.23, which is around where XRP was trading at the time of one of our sources.
Okay.
We could be looking at a new all-time high of, $4.48.
Wow, that'd be huge. It's interesting how that scenario basically assumes this direct link between regulatory clarity and a burst of market excitement. Did ChatGPT come up with any other possibilities?
It did. It also thought about what if the resolution triggers even more optimism, a stronger market reaction, maybe a 150% increase. In that case, XRP could hit $5.58.
Getting up there.
I know, right? And then there's the most bullish scenario, a 200% jump. That one's based on not just the legal stuff clearing up, but also a broader bull run, across the whole crypto market.
A rising tide lifts all boats.
Exactly. And in that case, XRP could go as high as $6.69.
Those are some pretty exciting numbers. But, there's another side to consider. We've also seen this argument that the market might already be pricing in a potential settlement.
Oh, yeah. I've heard that too.
So maybe the actual price surge might not be as dramatic as ChatGPT thinks. The element of surprise might not be there.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Markets are pretty good at anticipating stuff. So let's shift gears a bit and look at XRP from another angle. Its market capitalization. There's been this talk about it potentially hitting the same level as a major financial institution like JP Chase.
That's a pretty bold comparison. It shows you the scale we're talking about here.
Totally. So JP Chase, at the time of one of our sources, had a market cap of about $677 billion.
Billion with a B.
Billion with a B, for sure. Now, compare that to XRP. Its market cap was around $127 billion. And its all-time high was somewhere around $180 billion back in late January 2025, when it hit $3.40.
So there's definitely a gap there.
A big one. So if XRP were to actually reach that $677 billion market cap.
Hypothetical, but interesting.
Very hypothetical.
Yeah.
But with about 58.04 billion XRP tokens floating around out there, and at, let's say, its current price of roughly $2.35, it would have to hit around $11.06 per XRP to reach that market cap. Double-digit territory.
That's wild.
It is. And it's funny. There was an analyst, Ali Martinez, who actually predicted XRP could go to $11.
Wow. So that comparison really puts things in perspective, doesn't it? How massive traditional finance is compared to even the biggest cryptocurrencies.
It does. And for XRP to get there, it would need a huge shift in how the market sees it.
Right.
A lot of money flowing in.
Absolutely. Now let's talk about who's holding all this XRP. I found some interesting data on how the holdings are distributed.
Yeah, let's break it down. So to be in the top 5% of XRP holders globally, you need to have a little over 9,000 XRP. 9,045 to be exact.
Okay.
And there are about 313,934 wallets with at least that much. To be in the top 10%, you need around 2,503 XRP. And there are like 627,868 addresses holding at least that much.
So it seems like the holdings are pretty concentrated at the top.
Yeah, they are. The total number of wallets holding XRP is about 6.278 million.
Got it.
Now, there's this theory going around that big institutions, like banks, might be secretly buying up a lot of XRP.
Interesting.
The thinking is they're betting on it being used more in the global financial system, so they're quietly accumulating it, like building up their positions without making a big fuss.
That's a pretty compelling idea. Like, are they getting ready for some big XRP-powered future?
Right. But there's also another perspective that the article brings up, and it's a good one. It asks, what price would actually make a real difference for the average XRP holder?
Yeah, that makes sense. Not everyone's a whale.
Exactly. There's this guy on XKev, and he pointed out that even if XRP hit $10, which would be a good return, it wouldn't necessarily be life-changing for someone holding like 10,000 tokens. That'd be a $100,000 portfolio.
Okay.
So he was saying for a lot of people, XRP would need to hit like $100 per token for it to be truly transformative. And he even questioned if that was even possible.
Right. So it really depends on your individual goals and how much you've invested. It's different for everyone.
For sure. All right, let's circle back to the SEC situation for a sec. What's the latest with their appeal strategy?
Okay, so Ripple has until April 16th to file their official response to the appeal. But there's been a pretty big development, a change in leadership at the SEC.
Oh yeah, Gary Gensler stepped down.
He did. And there's been this buzz about people who are like more open to crypto potentially taking over.
Interesting.
So if the new leadership is, less focused on cracking down on crypto, could they reconsider the appeal in the Ripple case?
That's the million-dollar question. Some analysts are even saying the appeal could be dropped entirely under a new administration. One of our sources said that if that happened, XRP could shoot past its all-time high of around $3.55.
That'd be huge.
It would. But on the other hand, if the legal uncertainty just drags on,
Not good.
XRP could drop below $1.50. And then there's the whole XRP spot ETF situation. If that gets approved, prices could go towards $5. But all the legal back and forth could cause delays.
So it's a really crucial time for XRP. The outcome of this legal battle could have a massive impact on its future.
Absolutely. Before we move on to Rex's Finance, let's do a quick XRP status check.
Sounds good.
As of March 18th, 2025, XRP was trading around 2.328 cents with a market cap of about $135.28 billion. And of course, we've got to remember its main purpose, facilitating payments on the XRP ledger. XRPL.
Right, and the XRPL has some pretty impressive tech behind it.
Seriously impressive. We're talking transaction speeds of 3 to 5 seconds, transaction costs of like 0.0002, the ability to handle over 1,500 transactions per second, and it's even carbon neutral. It's designed for payments through and through.
All about efficiency, and that translates into some real-world use cases.
Absolutely. Cross-border payments acting as a bridge between different currencies, even enabling those tiny microtransactions. XRPL was built to be a faster, cheaper, and greener alternative to even Bitcoin when it comes to payments.
Really interesting. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground with XRP. Now let's dive into Rex's Finance, RXS. This altcoin's currently priced around $0.20. It's being touted as like a serious contender, a potential challenger.
Yeah, RXS is making a lot of noise.
So what's driving all the buzz?
Well, Rex's Finance is all about this idea of tokenizing real-world assets. Basically, using blockchain tech to create a new way to trade things like real estate or commodities.
I see. And the goal is to make those assets more accessible and, cheaper to trade than they are traditionally.
Exactly. And it looks like they're gaining some serious traction. Their pre-sale has been a huge success. They're in stage 12, the final stage, and the token's at $0.20. They've raised almost $47 million and sold over 454.1 million tokens, which is about 90.83% of their pre-sale allocation.
Wow.
What's really interesting is that the value has gone up by like 566% since the first stage, when it was just 0.03 cents.
That's a huge jump. Definitely shows that there's early investor confidence. What's next for RXS?
They're going live on public exchanges on June 19th, 2025. The initial listing price is going to be $0.25. They've already got listings on CoinMarketCap and CoinGecko, which is great for visibility, and they've been audited by CertiK for security.
Ah, CertiK. That's a good sign. It shows they're serious about security and building trust. And their approach to fundraising is interesting.
Yeah, they went with a public pre-sale instead of relying heavily on venture capital like a lot of crypto startups do.
Right.
So it gives everyday investors a chance to get in early.
I like that.
They're also planning to list RXS on 3 Tier 1 exchanges. That should provide a ton of liquidity and get them more exposure.
Makes sense. So what's the big picture for Rex's Finance? What's their roadmap like?
Partnerships, ongoing development, and getting integrated into the DeFi ecosystem. They're building a whole environment around RXS, aiming for long-term adoption and utility.
Ambitious. And what about the platform itself? What are the key features?
One of the main things is fractional ownership. Users can own pieces of high-value investments like real estate or commodities.
So it's like democratizing access to markets that were traditionally out of reach for most people.
Exactly. They also have a launch pad to help new blockchain projects raise funds, a quick mint bot for creating asset-backed tokens, and even an AI-powered NFT tool for digital artists.
Sounds like they're covering a lot of bases.
They are. And they're running this huge giveaway, the Rex's Millionaire giveaway, with a prize pool of $1 million in RXS tokens.
Wow, that's a big incentive to get people involved.
Definitely. Now think about the size of the market they're going after. Real estate, commodities, equities, that's a $486 trillion market.
That's insane.
It is. And some analysts are predicting a potential surge of up to 12,000% after their public debut based on their tech and the ecosystem they're building.
That's a pretty wild prediction. It shows just how much disruption they could potentially bring.
So we got XRP, an established player with huge potential, but it's still tied to regulatory hurdles and whether institutions adopt it. And then there's Rex's Finance, the new kid on the block, building momentum with its pre-sale and focusing on this whole asset tokenization thing, which is really taking off.
It's a really interesting comparison. XRP has that first mover advantage and a strong network. RXS is carving out its own niche, making these traditionally hard to access assets more liquid and easier to trade. Whether RXS ends up outperforming XRP, who knows, but it's definitely shaking things up.
Absolutely. And that brings us to a thought-provoking question for you, our listeners. What does the future hold for asset tokenization? Is this the next big wave in crypto? And how much power do these new focused altcoins have to disrupt the old guard, even giants like XRP? Think about what factors you'd consider when evaluating the long-term potential of both XRP and these emerging projects like Rex's Finance.
Go.
This deep dive is just the beginning of your exploration.
Go down the rabbit hole.
That's right, dive in.